feeling her baby slither out of her body. Am I liking this? Placenta? The scariest horror book I've ever read. What's up, it's Jan, back at it again with another nerdy bookish video. This is going to be my spoiler-filled dedicated reading vlog for February's Full Moon Book Club pick, which is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. Okay, so I'm gonna attempt is the key word, to finish this today, from start to finish. We're gonna set a 24-hour timer. I'm gonna be home alone today for the most part. We're just gonna try to binge it. Okay, I have the Spotify audiobook. Gonna try to read the first 50 pages just physically to feel it out, and then we're gonna see if I need the audiobook or if I'm reading it faster, which I doubt, because if you haven't heard, this book is about maternity houses for teenage girls who get pregnant and are disowned by their families essentially, and they get sent to these houses to give birth and put their babies up for adoption. One of the girls finds an occult-ish witchcraft book and they get revenge or something. All I know is there's a lot of pregnancy, there are a lot of graphic birthing scenes. I've been warned many a time. I've gotten so many DMs that were like, girl, you're gonna hate this. Oh my god, I can't even get past the birthing scenes, and I'm a mom who's given birth multiple times. I think I'm gonna DNF this and you probably will too, blah 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 blah. Okay, I've heard it all and I'm prepared, kind of, not really, but that's the main reason why I want to finish this on the first day of February, get it out of the way, get this vlog edited, up for early access for Patreon, and then up and ready on February 12th when this is supposed to be up for the full moon. However, this is a 477 page book, so we'll see how this goes. And this is a hit or miss author, and by hit I mean one out of the, I don't know, 5 or 6 books I've read by him, and all the other ones were 3 stars. So, see how this goes. I mean, I read the intro, like the author's note, about why does a childless middle-aged man feel the need to write this book, basically, is what he said. And then he answers the question and says, like, he has family members who have been through this, and whenever people ask him about what he's writing next, he says maternity houses or whatever, and people just assume that he's talking about the ones in Ireland, but not a lot of people realize that they had a bunch of them in the US as well, so he wanted to make people aware of that, and he adds witchcraft in it. And I heard the witchy parts are barely there in comparison to the pregnancy parts and these girls' swollen bellies, and oh, I'm not ready. I'm gonna be prepared to cramp, because if you don't know me, hi, I'm Jan. I don't want kids, and I get really triggered by the word pregnancy, like triggered as in physically, like I start cramping. It feels like period cramps whenever the word pregnancy comes up too many times, or like I read a birthing scene, or I talk about having kids in general and like the process. I just can't. It's a lot. So this is going to be a lot. This vlog is going to be a lot of probably gagging, ranting, and complaining probably, but we're going to try to get through it. All I'm saying is please don't hate me if I DNF, okay? Okay, we're practicing self-care this year. I've already DNF'd 5 books in January, and that is a lot for me because there are some years where I don't even DNF 5 books like for a full year. So I've never DNF'd a book club book. This may just be the first one. I made my coffee. I'm gonna set my timer. I'm gonna hop on with Christina because she's also doing a 24-hour readathon. I have my Tortured Readers Department sweatshirt on from the Common Room shop because that's gonna be me. I'm gonna be a tortured reader all day. And you know whose fault it is? Me, for putting this book on the Patreon poll. Knowing it's a new release, knowing it's a big author, knowing it was probably gonna win the poll. I'm just glad I took it off my 2025 TBR because that was a thing at one point. Okay, let's do this. Hope you enjoy this vlog. Let me know if you read the book, what you thought, what you think of this vlog. I don't know. Thank you for participating if you did, specifically for my book club, because I know at least 3 other book clubs are doing this month. So if you read it specifically for mine, I appreciate you. I appreciate you either way for watching this video, but alright. I'm gonna love you and leave you here, and I'll update you probably in a few pages when I get my first reactions. time for the first update. We are at, I hate that I have to say this, we're at 27 weeks. I read 66 pages with my eyeballs and my eyeballs only. And honestly, I feel like I'm gonna end up reading it physically faster than if I had the audiobook, because there are so many things that my eyes are like skipping over. The amount of times I've already read swollen belly, protruding belly, her belly's sticking out to say hello. I literally have a tab that says gross, I gagged FML. So that's how this is going. So we start out meeting Neva, that sounds better, Neva, who is on her way to Florida to go to this house. She doesn't know she's going to this house, but her dad is driving her. Her dad hates her. Everyone in her life hates her because she got pregnant from this guy named Guy. It's probably Guy because it's like French, maybe. I don't know. Maybe his name's just Guy. I don't know. He was a piece of shit, so he hates her too. She got disowned by her family. She's going to this maternity house. She meets these girls. She's surrounded by pregnant teenage girls. She meets Rose and Hazel and a bunch of other girls. It reminds me of, was it Do Not Reply? That movie we saw with Jasper from Twilight?
Yeah.
There's this movie called Do Not Reply, and there's this house and like, you're not supposed to say your real name and where you're from and whatever, and there's no outside contact. Same vibe. It's so funny because I'm visualizing things, but I have no idea if they're accurate. There's this one doctor, I think Dr. Vincent is his name. They describe him as his veiny eggshell head was completely bald except for tufts of white hair behind each ear. His neck is hunched forward. I immediately thought of, you know, in Gossip Girl, Blair Waldorf's mom, her boyfriend, the short Jewish man. He's like balding and has like 2 little tufts of hair, and he was just so dorky. He had a lisp and he was like way shorter than Blair Waldorf's mom, and he was just like there for comedic relief kind of, but also to be like a stepdad to, anyway, that's who I pictured. Some of these lines actually made me laugh because I mean, it's Grady Hendrix. He's pretty funny. There was one that was describing the Pepto-Bismol carpet, right? And it's like this peachy pink color, and it says it was supposed to look feminine and sweet, but it made her feel like she was walking through the inside of someone's ear. And then he also described the head of the household, the lady that they first met, as looking like President Nixon dressed as a woman. So I can only freaking imagine. It seems like everyone's just gonna be mean. I will say one thing is actually just like plain annoying. Like it's not like triggering or anything, it's just annoying. Everyone keeps telling her that you just have to go through this, have the baby, give it up for adoption, and then you're out of here. You never have to think about this place again. It'll be like nothing ever happened because no one knows anything about you. Like no one knows you were here except your family and whatever. And then every time someone says that, it goes, she wanted that. She wanted that so badly. Her name was changed to Fern, so Neva is Fern. At first it was like Neva wanted that so badly, and then once her name changed, it was like Fern wanted that so bad. She wanted that. She really wanted that. It's like we fucking get it. They're really strict with what the girls eat, obviously, because they want the babies to be healthy, so they're like restricting salt. I was like, that would be my 13th reason. If I had to give up salt, I love my salt. Okay, what else have I written? I put take a shot every time and die. Every time you see swollen stomach, bulging stomach, protruding stomach. I just know there's also a vomiting scene, probably multiple vomiting scenes. I mean, there already have been like brief moments where she threw up, but I know the vomiting scenes are really graphic and gross, so not ready for that. We are 6 chapters in. Chapters could be shorter, but it's fine. I mean, I like the font. That's all I got for now, I think. No witchiness yet. Like I said, I did like the introduction. Grady Hendrix explains the historical context, and then he also goes into why he chose the witch as his monster for this book. And it says, witches in childbirth go back a long way. Witches are constantly eating or stealing babies. Witches crown their black Sabbaths with a child sacrifice. But it was tough because no one can even agree on what they are. Like, is she an old crone? Are they a circle of women dancing naked beneath the moon? Does she ride a broomstick? Or is she an innocent woman falsely accused and hanged in Salem? So there are all these like variations of what a witch is. He said it took him a while to figure it out, and he wrote 8 drafts in 14 months for this book. I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine being in this book for 8 days just reading it. Oh lord. Okay, that's what I got from 66 pages. Oh, she had her first exam, and it described his pudgy fingers in her and the lubricant and how this grimy doctor is like all over her. Let's proceed, I guess. I think 100 pages. I'll see how the audiobook is. Or let's go. Oh, look, 100 pages. 30 weeks. Perfect. Oh my god, I forgot to mention, and I want to mention it while Joey's here so he can attest to me witnessing this freaking ad. Okay, so multiple times they've mentioned this barn because that's what they call the clinic, because apparently that's where, you know, they get milked essentially. And then other times there have been times where the head lady, Diane, I think is her name, was like, behave or whatever, and she was like, this is the dinner table, not a barnyard. And it made me think,
god.
I don't know who else has seen this ad, because we've seen it once and never saw it again, and it probably got canceled, rightfully so, because was it for like a hers? Or no, I think it was like deodorant or something, or no, it was hers. It was like a wash.
It was like a feminine
body wash.
Yeah.
It was like a Hulu ad or something, and it immediately, it started off with like, does your crotch smell like a barnyard?
And we were just like, what the fuck? That's a fucking way to start an ad.
That is the most insulting thing. I mean, they did their job because it caught our attention, so.
And we haven't stopped talking about it, so it's becoming an ongoing joke.
It's just so rude. It's like, imagine going up to someone and being like, your crotch smells like a barnyard. I would be so self-conscious for the rest of my fucking life.
That's wild. That'd be traumatizing.
Anyway, just had to mention that.
Some dude goes down on you.
It smells like a barnyard.
It smells like a barnyard.
Ew.
It smells like you've been rolling around with goats and sheep.
My bad. I think I meant Mrs. Deckel, not Diane. I think Diane's the social worker? Question mark? I don't know. I'm getting all the people with authority mixed up. Oh my god. Wow, the ambiance of a baby screaming from my neighbor's apartment. Checks out. Okay, 100 pages in. We're officially switching to the audiobook. But like also following along, not just listening. Just to clarify. Alright, so it's currently 11 a.m. on the dots, which means we are 4 hours in to this goal of finishing this. So we met Zinnia, who is a black girl, and she's already being mistreated. Is it Mrs. Deckel? I don't remember who wants to put her... Or Miss Wellwood. Miss Wellwood is the owner of the house. Oh my god. It's called the Wellwood House. Jesus. Miss Wellwood wants to stick her in the attic, but Fern and Holly and Rose were like, you can't do that. You can share a room, whatever. And so Fern and Holly are gonna share a room with her. She keeps puking. Rose just chugged this health supplement, which was like brown sludge, and Fern asked what it was, and Miss Wellwood said it's calf's liver blended with milk. Gross!
No.
Alright, that's all I got for now. Joey's back from the gym.
The librarian stood between them, hands clasped, handbag looped over one wrist, heels touching in their clunky black librarian shoes. Her face landed in the soft moonlight.
You have to help me. I'm having God's baby. I literally heard that come out of my computer speakers, and I said, what the fuck? We've got the Witchcraft starting. Okay, we are 154 pages in, flying through this book, which is great. I'm probably gonna go to a coffee shop in a little bit and read another at least 100 pages at a coffee shop. That would feel grand. I'm gonna have a Nutella croissant, have a nice iced latte. Yeah, that sounds good. I just have to get my butt up and finish getting ready and stuff. But anyway, Witchcraft. So there was a bookmobile, which reminded me so much of those Scholastic book fairs. Oh my god, I love them so much. Those were so fun, and you get like that thin ass paper catalog and you circle what you want and your mom gives you like 20 bucks. It was so much fun. But yeah, this was like a bookmobile from a public library, which my library has too. Wait, no, my old library does. The old library I worked for. So I had a vision of how but this one seemed so much more like decked out and just like fun. And the librarian was the witch, I guess. I don't know why I'm quoting. Someone was just like, you're a witch? And she's like, no, I'm a librarian. And there are these random big dogs coming out of nowhere. Is it supposed to be like her familiar? That's probably what it is. But she gave her this book called How to Be a Groovy Witch. And Fern felt something in her stomach shift, and apparently she's convinced that this witch repositioned her baby so that she's not peeing every 2 seconds anymore. So they're like, oh my god, Zinnia, like we have to do this for you because you throw up just as much as I pee, so we can fix it. So then they did the spell, whatever, and then Dr. Dr. Vincent starts puking his guts out, like, demonically. So they know that they did something. I don't know if they did anything correctly or what, but they've concluded that they gave Zinnia's sickness to Dr. Vincent. So then Zinnia hasn't thrown up in like hours and days, and Dr. Vincent is just not well. That's kind of cool, actually, that they're just like transferring their pain to these people who are keeping them locked in this house. Honestly, I'm kind of interested to see where this goes. I'm not ready for the birthing scenes. I'm probably gonna crank up the speed for those birthing scenes once I get an inkling that they're starting. But some of these chapters have been like 3 pages long. They're usually like 10 pages though, which is fine, I guess. I think I'm gonna sit here and get to page 200, and then I'm gonna get ready and go to a coffee shop. It's now 12:22 p.m. That'll be fun. I'm not gonna listen to it on my drive because I want to follow along and annotate, but we'll get another 100 pages at the very least. And then we'll come back and update, because yes, I said one of my 2025 goals is to conquer my fear of vlogging in public, but like I'm not gonna talk to a camera in the middle of a coffee shop, you know? I was referring to more like B-roll at like bookstores and stuff. That's that. It's actually not as bad as I thought, at least in these first 150 pages, but it's still pretty bad. Right now it's probably sitting at a low 3-star, but that's just like a personal problem, you know? All I'm saying is it's not a 1-star, which is wild to me. Literally everybody is expecting me to hate this, including myself, including Joey. So this is my best bet, getting it all done in one day. And I'm so proud of myself for thinking about that, because that will solve a lot of my problems. I'm simultaneously filming an ultimate book video, so I'll probably get maybe a clip on this SD card, but most of my like pretty B-roll is probably gonna be on that vlog. I'm gonna change my battery once again, and I'll talk to y'all in like 50 pages probably. Am I liking this? I feel like I'm so desensitized at this point, because not only have I've read 200 plus pages of this, and I've heard the disgusting parts, I've read with my eyeballs, but I've also heard all that before I even started the book. So many people have warned me. Like when I tell you that I announced this book as my Full Moon Book Club pick, flooded with DMs and comments and Discord messages. I mean, I appreciate everyone looking out for my well-being, and no, I did not know about all that upon choosing this book to put in my Patreon poll. But now that I'm in it, I'm kind of really in it. I just stopped because I had to tell you that the most disgusting part by far was not even anything to do with pregnancy. It's this nail scene. This nail scene where Rose, they found Miss Parse's coven and they're doing some sort of ritual. I don't even remember what it was, but I'm just so distracted by this. She had to yank a fingernail off. And if you know me, you know that fingernail horror and dental horror are some of the scariest things for me to read about and watch, and just oof. Oh, it's crazy. This part, hold on. So she has a knife. She pushed the blade under her nail, worked its triangular tip back and forth, rocking it from side to side, pushing it toward her cuticle, hacking at its root. She twisted the blade hard, and half her nail lifted off with a tearing sound somewhere between paper and meat. Ooh. Ah, yikes. I can feel it, especially as someone who like usually has acrylic nails and knows what it feels like to like rip them off and accidentally rip off your real nail. Oh, this is like that on steroids. One nail wasn't enough. Body short-circuiting with pain, she went for her middle finger next. Oh, her nail stuck up in the air, half off, but she needed it all the way off. That was why they'd brought the pliers. Rose groped blindly in the dirt for them, then clamped them around her protruding nail and yanked. That's a lot. That's a fucking lot. But right before this, Rose lost her baby, and then she lost her mind. Her water broke because she was like high stress, freaking out to the people of authority, saying like, yeah, I want to keep my baby, and no, I'm not crazy. This is what you guys do. All you care about is selling my baby. Basically, y'all are being selfish, and I want to care for this baby. And Miss Woodwell, or whatever the fuck, Well Wishes, said like, upon your arrival, you went into my office and we discussed this, and we said that the only thing that you can provide for this baby is love. And she's like, that's a good slogan, but it's not going to give your baby a future. I have a couple who's interested. They have this professional background with like computers and stuff and whatever. Then her water broke and she goes to the hospital and they take her baby. Then she comes back and she's like freaking out. Like she's like, oh my god, I'm fucking done. Like let's do what we have to. I don't care what spells we have to cast at this point. I'm fucking done with this institution, with these people, blah 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 blah. So now her nail is off. So that's where we're at. I know I said I'd stop at 200 pages, but we're 228 pages in now. I think I'm just gonna finish this chapter and then get ready to head out. Okay, I think it's the audiobook that I'm really liking, because this chanting, the I-E-O-V-O-V-O-V-O on page 230, in the audiobook it sounds so creepy. Could I play that? Is that legal? Let me disconnect my headphones. I just need y'all to hear this a little bit.
Behind her, Holly grunted savagely with every step. Living things watched them from the darkness.
You see what I mean? It's intense. I like the narrator. She does different voices and moods and intonations really well. So they picked a good narrator for this particular book, I think. Just keep on going. And then hopefully next time you see me, we're in a different setting. Probably not. I'll probably stay on this couch for the rest of the day after I get back from the coffee shop. But I have so much hope. It's only 1:36 and I am almost halfway through. That's crazy. I'm gonna do this. All in one day, all in one go. I'm so happy for myself. And I love finishing books on the first of the month. It sets a good tone. Even if it's not gonna be a 5-star or anywhere close, at least it's not gonna be a 1-star. I could say that much. Hello, friends. It has been a little bit. I don't even know how many hours we have left. Probably like 12. There were a few hours where I didn't read. Well, maybe not a few hours. I went to the coffee shop, read to page 300 there, ran out of audiobook hours, so then I edited for like 20 minutes. Came home, Joey and I had wings. We watched a couple episodes of Modern Family, as always, during dinner, and then I locked myself in the room for a little bit, and I fell asleep for 30 minutes. Then I started reading again, and now I'm at the 38 weeks mark. And it says, baby's lungs and vocal cord development are almost complete, exclamation point. Expect to pass your mucus plug. I don't even want to know what that means. I'm not gonna lie, it is dragging a little bit. There was this whole chapter of people throwing stones, but like, it was hail. I really don't even know. I was just kind of going through the motions at that point. But before that, they poisoned Miss Wellwood. And then we find out she was having a baby and that the baby was inhuman or something. And it was just like squirming in there. And Hagar was helping her out and like reaching in there. I don't even know what was going on, but it was not pleasant to read. It sounded like The First Omen. Yeah, that was kind of the most exciting part I read. I don't know if exciting is the right word, but that's the most action-packed thing I read at the coffee shop. Oh, they had that whole thing with like Holly and like how they can't help Holly, and there were all these discussions about why they should help her or shouldn't help her. Because Holly was knocked up, quote unquote, by Reverend Jerry, who told her parents that it was this dude named Pete, but Reverend Jerry molested her at like 8 years old. At least that's how I understood it. And then he was talking to whoever takes care of like the adoption portion of the process and wants her baby at the end of all this. We find that out right after she was like, help, I'm having God's baby or whatever. Oh, and Hagar burned the book that the librarian witch gave them, the How to Be a Groovy Witch or whatever. She burned it. She was like, I know what goes on here. I know you guys have been fucking with witchcraft. You smell like it. And everyone was like, are you a witch? She's like, I've been here for 19 years. I know what goes on in these woods. And I was just thinking like, how am I visualizing some of these characters? I really don't know. I have no visualization for Fern, nor Hagar, or any of the girls, really. Part of me kind of wants to imagine characters from the Handmaid's Tale show and just make them younger in my head. I don't know, just because it's kind of the same, not really the same thing, but in a way. it's like the same themes of female autonomy or lack thereof, women giving up their babies to families who are more capable of taking care of them, lack of women's freedom. But yeah, that's where the witchcraft comes in, because that's the theme of them feeling free. Like there was that one point where they like levitated for the first time, or they like flew or whatever for the first time, and it talked about like being free, and it was like the first time they felt this way in a while or whatever. And that reminded me of the Unmothers, which I DNF'd, but I spoiled myself for because I had a live show discussion for it with Elizabeth's book club from Reading Riley. They were talking about how the witchcraft there resembles certain themes like that. So those are kind of similar. So if you like this, you might like the Unmothers. This is still feeling like a 3-star actually. Probably nothing more than that. I have a feeling I'm getting close to the birthing scenes that everyone's warning me about, because we're at 38 weeks and she's about to pop one out at any moment, and she calls her baby Charlie Brown because I guess in the ultrasound or whatever, like he has a bald head. She calls him Charlie Brown, which I think is kind of funny. I'm reading this significantly slower now, but I still have hope that I can finish this tonight. I'm on page 330, so I have 147 pages left. It's doable. We got this. I just need to stop getting distracted. All right, the birthing scene has commenced, so we're gonna film my reactions. I'm feeling deja vu because I did this during the rat scene for Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix too. I just gagged right before turning the camera on. Sorry if I'm yelling. I'm listening to brown noise right now. I have my earbuds in. The nurse shaved her pubes without her consent. And then she goes, release, and then it says, and Fern let go. She heard something spraying, and the smell of her own wet bowels filled the room.
Ew.
Gross! Alright, let's keep reading. You're at 5 centimeters. You've got 5 hours to go. She's fucking 15, man. Not her calling him Chuck, because she's been calling him Charlie Brown. It's like, oh god, Chuck. I don't know if we can do this. Ugh. I just cannot imagine the fucking contractions. Like, I could barely take period cramps. Fuck that. Ew. Ew, ew, ew. Feeling her baby slither out of her body. Oh my god, please! I'm gonna run out of gray tabs in a sec here. This reminds me of in Handmaid's Tale when they're like in the birthing circle and they're like, push, 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 breathe, breathe, breathe. Oh my god. What does that even mean? Bitch is hallucinating now. Her pelvis felt like giant hands were bending it in half. This is probably not even the worst of it. Because this is not even technically the end. I still have like over 100 pages. People say the one at the end is worse. Unless this is the one they're talking about. Ugh. As soon as I turned the camera off, I needed to turn it back on again because I need y'all to suffer with me here. Leaving her vagina and anus exposed. Second stage of delivery was well underway and the patient's uterus made firm, steady exertions. Soon, the dark, wet head of the baby cleared her pubic bone and became visible. As the baby's head exerted pressure on the patient's perineum, Dr. Jensen placed a folded towel against the patient's rectum and put downward pressure against it to control the delivery of the head and reduce the risk of a perineal tear.
I can't help but think that the author just had to watch a lot of birthing videos.
I was just about to say, I can't imagine Grady Hendrix like sitting down and writing a fucking birthing scene about a 15-year-old's anus. Like... Oh my god. Ew, the patient's hymenal ring stretched thinner. He's turtling! We need to cut. Oh my god, I'm gonna fucking puke. I wanted to eat my snacks, damn it.
You can't.
I can't eat with this. I like genuinely cannot. Perennial tear. Things tearing up down there, like I cannot even take it. I can't. A 5-inch needle? Squirted a bit of the local anesthetic. He reached inside the patient's vulva, pulled away a band of her exterior flesh. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I can't! And drove the needle into her perineum twice. I don't know and I don't want to know. I think it's something, it's definitely something down there. It's probably the taint or something. The second time he injected, okay, scissors. Oh my god. Dr. Jensen slipped their sharp tip into the bottom of the patient's vulva. Ugh, no. Are you actually joking right now, Grady? Sir. Under the taut skin of her perineum at a 45-degree angle. How does he know the specifics of the shit? A good grip on the patient's left thigh. Press the scissors close until they connected with tissue. Oh my god, I'm gonna throw up.
I'm gonna throw up.
The blades sliced their way through 4 muscle groups, an 1.5 inches deep, cutting toward the soft muscles of the rectum. This is the scariest horror book I've ever read. Oh my god, I literally feel sick. Oh my god! Then he withdrew the scissors and the patient's vagina gaped open. He flapped back a loose, bloody triangle of skin to reveal the baby's head resting on a soft bed of tissue. Please, get me out. Get me out of here. The things I do for fucking booktube, man. Okay. He clamped their blades lightly to either side of the baby's soft, unjoined skull. The baby slithered out into his other hand. Oh my god.
Why is it slipping? You're a snake.
I'm a snake. I'm a slithery snake.
I'm a slithery little sneaky snake.
He clamped the umbilical cord. Okay, umbilical cords are like the creepiest thing. Close to the baby's stomach and quickly snipped it. Ew. She suctioned mucus out of the baby's throat. Placenta? Fucking hate the word placenta, man. What is a chromic catgut 000? What the fuck? A curved cutting needle and used 4 interrupted sutures to close the incision in the patient's levator ani muscle. Did I just cast a spell? Is this the witchcraft part? And then you put 3 running sutures of the same catgut. What is a catgut? In the bulbocavernosus sphincter. I am not Googling any of these terms. He pulled the subcutaneous fascia and carried it upward to close, oh my god, to close the vaginal mucosa. Oh my god. Then he added 2 extra stitches for tightness. Okay, fucked. When this poor girl got married, she'd be grateful. Her husband would never know what had happened here today. It's like the husband stitch. All that before 8 a.m., he said. Literally same. I really just went through that. Imagine how she felt. Alright, we're in the next chapter. I'm busting out my chips. Let's hope I don't throw them all up. Okay, all the updates are on this couch, but we're just gonna put it at different angles at least. That chapter was her trying to change her mind. She was like, Diane, I want to see the baby. Diane's like, no, it's best you don't. She's like, no, I want to see my baby. So she saw her baby. And she's like, what if I don't want to do this? And Diane's like, okay, we can rip up the papers, but you might just be reacting because of all the gas that's in you and all the meds you're on and whatever. She's like, okay, can I make the decision tomorrow? She's like, listen, bitch, do you not realize that you're gonna have to pay all these bills at 15 years old with no money, no job, no place of your own? Since you agreed to put the baby up for adoption, all your fees were covered. Every single penny was covered. But if you change your mind, you have to cover all of that, including the home fees as well, like the Wellwood home. She's like, but I worked at said home. And she's like, no, that covers your room and board, but everything else, there are fees on fees on fees. Then Miss Witchy Witch, what the fuck's her name? Miss Parse comes and is like, how about, what if you give your baby to me? And she can grow up with my coven and we can make a little deal. Fern was like, hell no. And then she leaves the hospital and now she was going home with nothing but aching nipples. She'd had a daughter, she'd learned how to fly, now she had neither, now she had nothing. So that's depressing. Also, she had a daughter, not a boy, but she's still calling her Charlie Brown. We are now on chapter 31. That chapter felt so long. I wonder what the parts are gonna be after since she gave birth. So, 40 weeks, okay. Baby is full term and ready to be born. Try to stay positive. Oh yeah, she was like a few days early or whatever. All right. We got this. We got this. What time is it? Like 8? I don't have my phone. It died. This brown noise, Miss Emmy knows what she's talking about because this brown noise has kept me focused more than I have all day. Okay, it's happening again. Holly is having her baby at Hagar's house because Fern and Zinnia convinced the cab driver to stop at Hagar's house. He's like, oh my god, she's gonna ruin my upholstery, get her out of here. And he's like, but I have to freaking get him to the hospital. And Hagar was like, you're dumb. She's his cousin's neighbor or something like that. And she's like, just pretend, give your voucher, pretend the girls are out there, like people think they're invisible anyway, which is really sad. You'll have your job and it'll be fine. I'll deliver this baby. Holy fuck. Okay, first of all, something poked out from inside Holly's belly, stretching her skin tighter, stretching it so thin Fern thought it was going to rip. Then it receded. That's gross. I forgot that like you could literally see the body parts like stretching. Okay, let's do this. Page 406. Y'all reach deep and guide her through? No, thank you. Please don't reach deep. Oh my god. She's literally laying naked in Hagar's bed. Oh my god. Not you waiting for the mailman. I'm screaming. Where's my highlighter? Hello? I need my highlighter. What do you mean? I lost my highlighter. There's an axolotl on the front door. Is that what the welcome sign is there for? I found it. It's under my table. All right, what was I highlighting? Oh, you waiting for the mailman? She snapped at Zinnia. I also refilled my gray tabs because I'm ready for a grotesque scene. Oh no, muscles are spasming. Oh god, she's screaming. There are pages of just contractions. I can't breathe. I physically cannot breathe. This is stressful as shit. Everyone's sweating. Holly's screaming. Hagar's counting. Oh god, look at all this screaming. Can you see all those capital letters? Ah! She saw something large shift inside Holly's stomach. Ooh. My guts are gonna come out. That's fucking nasty. Oh god, the baby's too big. Make a noise like a wolf. You're a wolf in church. I'm crying. Why is that so funny? Oh great, now she's howling. Something rearranged itself inside Haley's swollen stomach. Kill me now. I really hope this is the last one. I have like 70 pages left. No, no. Something new was in the room and Fern looked down and saw something like a man's red fist punching out from between Holly's legs. Miriam's fingers flew over it and saw it had a nose and a mouth and it moved and she realized it was the baby's head. I hate this part. I hate this so much. Am I skipping it? No, because mama ain't raised no bitch. It was bloody and angry like an old man sticking his head out the window covered in white curds. But it was a face. Oh my god, why? I hate that. White curds? The head turned from red to purple. Please. The baby's head turned black. Oh no. Don't tell me she's gonna go through all this just to lose the baby. Are you fucking kidding? Jan, if you don't read a lighthearted romance after this, swear to god. Okay, we're still howling. We burned a Bath & Body Works candle for an extended period of time, so it's making me sneeze. Those things are so bad for your lungs and shit. A slippery upside down movement. Or moment. Okay. All I'm picturing is Florence Pugh in that movie with Andrew Garfield. Except Holly's like, I think 13 or something. The tight bulging skin. Oh my god, okay. On the last page of the chapter. Oh! The baby slid out, greased with blood and white foam. Miriam grabbed it with both hands and tucked it in, holding the purple dead baby. Oh, it's a dead baby. Oh no. Ew, a single long streamer of guts linked from inside Holly to the baby's belly. Gross. My head hurts. Ew. Oh my god, she's doing the snot sucking thing. Ew, I hate, why do they keep saying curd? The curd encrusted. Oh, okay, Miriam blew into its nose and mouth and put it back to life. Brought it back to life. Oh, god. Ew, man. Okay, there's that 11-minute clip. Damn, editing Jan's gonna hate you. Am I about to give this 4 stars? Plot twist of the fucking century? Are you joking? Okay, even though that epilogue was all in italics, I love that epilogue. I loved knowing where everyone ended up. I love knowing how they found each other and encountered each other after the home was destroyed and everything. How it was like a letter to the daughter. I feel like I want to give it a 3 though, because that ending, those last 50 pages with like all the catastrophic storm stuff and the witchy stuff, I don't think that was necessary. I think Reverend Jerry, well, if he did die, he wouldn't have confessed to everything on TV or whatever he did in that like sermon or whatever in the epilogue. But I just wish the ending was a little more abrupt. Well, I like that she was able to go home. She realized her dad was feeling certain feelings, and that's why he kept trying to fill the silence when she couldn't even talk because her tongue was all swollen because she tried to do another ritual thing to summon the storm, and she like cut her tongue in her mouth. That was wild. Actually, should I give it 4 stars? That's insane. What? I like this so much better than Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires and My Best Friend's Exorcism. So now it's Horror Store, this, My Best Friend's Exorcism, Slaying Vampires, and then what's the last one? Oh, How to Sell a Haunted House. Yeah, I hated that one. How did I read this all in one day? This is like unfathomable for me personally, to stick to one book for an entire day. Not to mention this book with all the birthing scenes and stuff. Fern's birthing scene was way worse than Holly's, but they were both still pretty bad. But like the fact that I was prepared for it, that might have helped, but it still didn't help because it was still, I mean, y'all saw my reactions. I think the worst part was definitely Fern's birthing. And then in between Fern's and Holly's birthing would be the nail scene. Rose yanking her fingernails off. I think that's the second worst. And then Holly's birthing. I'm shook. This is going on my most surprising of the year. I'm not unhauling this. That's fucking wild. Like, no one is more surprised than me. Everyone was telling me I'm gonna hate this. I was telling myself I'm gonna hate this. I was genuinely ready to switch my book club book. But I was like, no, I already announced it, I already committed, I already bought the book. That's insane. And the last words were, we are free or whatever, and that just ties in with the themes of freedom and having control. There's commentary about the patriarchy. There's also some racism in here. And then I'm like, oh hell no. And like, yeah, it's fucked up. And then I realized that the time period, I think it's like the 60s or something. But I mean, that doesn't excuse it. It's just, it makes sense in the historical context. It still bothered me. There was that part when the cops came to Hager's house after Holly gave birth, and he was like, oh, are these your girls? When Miss Wellwood came, and he was like, are these your girls? We don't mix. We have to keep them in separate cars because Zinnia is black and Fern is white. That was heartbreaking to read. But holy fuck, that was such a good epilogue. Like, that gave me goosebumps. I'm gonna have to like process this for like 24 hours. 4 stars. I think I'm locking it in at 4 stars. That's insane! Okay, well, thank you for going on this 24-hour journey with me. I don't even know if my timer saved because my phone died, but I mean, it's 9:54. I started at 7 a.m. So that's 12, 13, 14, let's say 15 hours. Oh, it's still going with 9 hours and 18 minutes left. That's fucking crazy. Oh my god. I never thought. Okay, I need to go. If you made it to the end of this video, put the baby emoji in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for reading this with me if you did. Don't forget to do some self-care, especially after reading this book. I'm gonna need to read a lighthearted romance after this. Hope you had a 5-star day. Don't forget to do some self-care. I already said that. Do self-care twice, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.